This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we're we're delighted
That's three.
4.
That's 4.
It ought to be illegal, right? Oh, gosh. All right. I think I can do it. So,
Oh, no.
it's your fault. I wasn't even there. I didn't do it. I wasn't there. I don't even know those guys.
I'm not in this bed.
So there's a link to all of your instructors on the website at usaprepares.com. And Matt is engineering the broadcast today in Minnesota. Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us. Welcome, Rick.
Good morning. I love it when you open your show every time with a laugh, and sometimes you lose it. Number 7, number 8.
Well, hey, Rick, let me ask you. We've spent time together. This is kind of just normal, isn't it? I mean, we laugh and joke and have a lot of fun.
Well, that's part of the concepts of joy, where your laughter is healthy. That's where health lies. When you can laugh, you're healthy. Even when you're sick, you're healthy.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that because inside I'm absolutely livid. I was telling our engineer, Matt, about Sparta, Missouri, and what happened with the tasing incident with Bob Estep, our 68-year-old student and instructor. And, being tased is not like getting a warning. It's not like, hey, I'm going to talk to you sternly if you don't do such and such. And so Bob Estep was tased in his vehicle in Sparta, Missouri. And one of the interesting things about Sparta, Missouri is it's a town of about 1,750 people. Literally 1,750 people. And I was at the alderman's meeting with some of our instructors on Tuesday. Well, these guys really are in the ticket business. They've set this toll booth up, and there are roughly 1,750 people who live in this small city of Sparta. It's about 1.25 square miles, so it's about 3 times the size of our farm, or 3 times the size of Norm Shealy's farm. Well, they write last month they wrote 170 citations. 170 citations. So let's say if there were only people who lived in Sparta, Missouri, driving or operating their vehicles in Sparta, Missouri. Okay? The odds that you would get a ticket if there were one person in your vehicle and you drove every day is that you would get a ticket every 10 months. Now, if there are 2 people in your car, you would get a ticket every 5 months. If there were 4 people in your car, the odds are that you'd be getting a ticket every 2.5 months.
As a carpool. Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean,
it's called parasitic, to be correct. And there are different ways of law enforcement, and some of them are correspondent, and the others are parasitic. There it is.
Rick, I have a friend. Yesterday, I mentioned a town in Missouri called Hartville, Heartville. In Hartville, Missouri, there's a bank, a couple gas stations, a couple restaurants, hardware store, and a bunch of abandoned buildings and storefronts. And it's at the bottom of a hill. So if you're coming from the north, you go down a big hill and you enter into a speed trap. If you're coming from the south, you enter the town from the top of the hill and you enter the speed trap. And they had a cop, a one-cop town, and he was out there with his radar gun. It's almost 5 years now. I was talking to my friend recently, and he said, it's too late. It's too late to get rid of that cop. The cop has already destroyed commerce in the town. Now, literally, I would go into the bank and they'd say, "Hey, Vinny, I haven't seen you where have you been?" And I'd say, "Well, I'm on the farm and I don't get this way very often. And besides, I don't like to come here because you guys have this toll booth that this cop has set up. And I don't want to get a ticket for something that, like a taillight or whatever it is. I don't want to risk the inconvenience and the fines and the insurance rate increase from whatever this guy might accuse me of doing." Okay? Not that I'm doing anything wrong, but I'll tell you what, our trailers go bump down the road, the tires have 100 pounds of pressure in them, and the tail lights and the side marker lights take a beating, and sometimes they just go out. It's not like we don't maintain our trailers, but I don't want to go through that town because if one of those lights is out, I'll get a ticket for it. So I avoid the town. And so does everybody else. So one of the restaurants went out of business. The stores are I would say there's only 25% of the businesses are operational, maybe 50%. One of the gas stations went out of business. And so my friend who spends time in Hartville said it's too late. It's too late to fix the town because everybody who used to go there has already figured out another way around the town and has gone to other businesses that are not in that town. So when you look at Sparta, Missouri, with the high ticket or citation rate that they have, who wants to go to Sparta? Who wants to subject themselves to being tased? They just don't want it. So, Rick, we've got Joe on the line. Joe, welcome. You're on with Dr. Richard Allen Miller and me, Vin Finelli.
Hey, good to be on with you guys.
Hey, Joe, were you at the meeting in Sparta?
I absolutely was.
Okay, so let me introduce you. Joe Acapenti. He is our latest USAPrepares.com instructor. He's going to be speaking at the Get Prepared Expo about food, the future of food, what's in the food, and what we need to know about food. So that Joe is your newest USAPrepares.com instructor. And Joe came to an event where I spoke in Springfield, Missouri. It was a small preparedness expo, and we talked, and he's from the Kansas City, Missouri area. And so he came to that event, and we became friends, and we chatted several times, and then he came to a meetup. We were talking about Bob Estep and our planning session, so we drove out from Kansas City to that. And then he came to the meeting last night. It's a 6-hour trip for Joe to support Bob Estep, and you were at the Sparta City Alderman's meeting, correct?
I was.
Tell us what you saw. I've been talking about it for yesterday and part of today, and please share that with Dr. Richard Allen Miller and also our radio broadcast classroom. What did you see?
Well, the first thing I saw, and I'm originally from Southern California, and I've attended many city council meetings there, which tend to draw a pretty good public presence. I'd never been to a small town alderman meeting like this, and it was quite the experience. So in bigger cities, things tend to be a lot more open and inviting. The first thing I noticed when we drove up is the city hall had parking for about 7 to 8 cars, and that was it. So they're not used to a crowd. They're obviously not expecting many people to take interest in what they're doing there. So we all parked down the street and walked over to the city hall. And the first thing I noticed was it was the most uninviting atmosphere outside the building that I've ever seen at a public servant meeting. When I walked up, there's a little alleyway that serves as a parking lot, and there were 2 completely black uniforms, body armor, extra magazines for the pistols, like you said, extra sets of cuffs. Looked like they were ready to go serve a warrant somewhere, or they were expecting a battle to happen. So there was 2 stationed down the alleyway that serves the parking lot, and there was 2 stationed right outside the door. And I thought, wow, what is this for intimidation factor, or what's the deal? I thought this was a place for the public to come and see what their local government is doing, and for everything to be out in open air here. So that was the first thing that struck me. That was just kind of different from some of the city council meeting. Once we were inside the building, you had to line up, and there were 2 officers, one that was standing to the side and another one that had a metal detector, a wand, and he was wanding everybody, making people empty their pockets. And again, this is for an alder meeting in a city of about 1,700 people, so I'm not quite sure what they were expecting, or what they're prepared for there. I'd say that was there must be some level of paranoia there for some reason, to have that much show of force and that much intimidation outside the building within the first 10 feet of entering the building. So everybody was forced to be unreasonably searched, and once that had happened, it was standing room only. There was probably about 35 to 40 people in this little building. I think about 20 of them were probably from USA Prepares, students and instructors, and that was great to see. Once we were inside the meeting, general staff things were covered, general roll call, that type of thing. Then they got into the minutes of the meeting and what was on the agenda, and it was almost comical. It was Easter egg hunt. They were, one of the ladies for the Parks and Services Committee was asking for an allocation for 6,000 Easter eggs, which struck me as a little odd. 6,000 Easter eggs for a population of 1,700 people, and I'm sure they're not all kids there. But that seemed to be that took up the most time on the agenda, was the Easter egg hunt. After that, the police chief got up and reported on the criminal statistics and the tickets that were written for the month, and I think it was like 178 tickets. I know it was in the 170s. I don't remember the exact number, but it was over 170. I hear the music coming on, so I'll finish after the break.
Yeah, it sounds like the same meeting I was at.
Yeah.
Joe Acapenti, Dr. Richard Allen Miller. I'm Vincent Finelli. We're talking about Sparta, Missouri, a place where they deliver lightning on a stick. I'm not going there unless I absolutely have to, or to support Bobby's stuff. We'll be right back. Some of you might be wondering, just what is the Get Prepared Expo? The Get Prepared Expo is designed to help everyone survive tornadoes, snowstorms, ice storms, earthquakes, and God forbid, a real terrorist attack. Are you ready? Have you thought through all the scenarios? At the Get Prepared Expo, you'll meet exhibitors who will help you prepare and survive and learn what you need. Included in your all-day passes are 1-hour seminars on water filtration, cooking and heating without electricity, wood, or any kind of fuel, the all-important survival garden, and growing food with heirloom seeds, radiation detection and radiation survival. There are over 60 seminars at the Get Prepared Expo. Think of it as a college preparedness degree in a weekend. Get Prepared Expos are taught by preparedness leaders, authors, medical doctors, and radio personalities. Bring your questions. We have the answers. We hope to see you the last weekend in March. Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth, slide into a recession, or at worst, depression? Hi, Ted Anderson from Midas Resources. We all know when a company acts irresponsibly, divesting ourselves in a move towards safety is prudent. When the market becomes volatile, U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven. But what do you do when the U.S. government overextends itself and spends beyond its means? Many investors are turning toward gold as a common-sense alternative to traditional paper investments. Midas Resources has put together a powerful book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, discussing costs, benefits, risks, featuring full-color illustrations, weights, and measures. The book is free and can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. Paper investments are dwarfed by gold's 6,000-year history. Discover how gold may be right for you and your IRA by calling 800-686-2237. Whether buying or it's time for you to sell, the book is free. Call 800-686-2237.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Class, you just heard a commercial announcement for the Get Prepared Expo, and I'd like to tell you that we have an update. We have a couple interesting seminars that we've added that are not on the website. Casting. Imagine having to set broken bones and put a cast, build a cast. So we have a seminar with Dr. Caesar about how to do that at the Get Prepared Expo. It's a 1-hour seminar. And then he's also going to teach another seminar on suturing, how to sew up a wound. I've taken that class with him, and it's a great class. And you'll end up leaving that class with a sterilized suture kit should you have the need for one. So you'll know how to stitch up yourselves or someone else or an animal. Now, there is a cost for that because there are materials involved, and that's $65 if you'd like to consider that. And I'll be putting that class up on the website in the next day or so, maybe even today. And then we have another class on what about if you had to make an emergency dental crown? An emergency dental crown. Well, Dr. Howard Shayne, who's my dentist, will be teaching that class. And you'll leave that class with materials to make your own dental crown in an emergency. And there's a cost for that class, and that's $65. So most of the other seminars, except for the one with Dr. Richard Allen Miller and Matt Stein on Friday, are bundled in your $8 online ticket, $10 at the door. But if you want to attend Rick's seminar with Matt Stein, and they'll be talking about game over events, that's an $85 class. That's all day Friday, all day. It's way above and beyond, the standard Get Prepared Expo. So, and those tickets are available right now. That's the Friday pass. Joe Acapenti's with us, and Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. And we're talking about tasing, and we're talking about Sparta, Missouri. And the reason that we're doing this is, class, the country's going down the drain. And what has happened is small communities have set up these toll booths. And they have determined that, if they stop enough people and they write enough citations, they can get revenue and they can build their little empires. So in Sparta, Missouri, they have 3.5 cops. And they all have brand new, nice uniforms. And they look like they're ready for war. I'm not kidding. I saw a vehicle out there that was nicer than anything that I've got here at the farm. Actually, nicer than any 3 things I've got here at the farm. Brand new, huge SUV. You think they need a huge SUV? That's what they've got. So tall, big, well painted. Really, really expensively done.
I'd like to interject something here.
Sure.
Vincent, I'd like to say something here. I would, if I were you, run background checks on where those 3.5 policemen came from. Because I think you're going to find that when they act and behave like that, they have a history of it. And that they came from somewhere else where they either were fired, laid off, or somehow replaced. And that the end of the line is in a little $1,700 town, 1,700 people town that has brand new vehicles. That town can't afford that.
That's right. Rick, you've been to the farm, and, we have a bar.
Run background checks on the police. I'll bet you will find they're not who you think they are. Rick, and that they have a history. That is, I've seen this on the internet where other towns have done this, and there it is. Read it and weep. They end up there as a last resort.
And Dr. Miller, that's being That's being done as we speak, and there was some information, just like you said, uncovered.
That's perfect. Great work. Good work, because this is time for us to take charge of our own serve and protect.
Joe, what were you saying?
I said there was some background checks ran on the current chief of police as well as his son, and we have uncovered some information, and we're in the process of verifying that information. And it speaks to exactly what you said just now, Dr. Miller. Corruption, corruption from top to bottom in Sparta, Missouri. So.
Yeah, and like this literally could be the line in the sand that has been drawn that is going to be the end of the city of Sparta. Literally, the city can be taken apart, and Bob Estep, we believe, will absolutely, positively prevail in this. But what this is not just isolated to Sparta, Missouri. We're finding this is going on all over, this tasing, the police stops. And you think about it, who goes to a city that has red light cameras and cameras everywhere where people are being pulled over and spied upon? I don't want to go there. And neither do others. We'll be right back. We have a special seminar for you on Friday, March 27th at the Get Prepared Expo. From 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Spend the day with USA Prepare's senior instructors, Matt Stein and Dr. Richard Allen Miller. There you'll learn about the 3 major game over events and their likelihood. And most importantly, what to do about them. Events so powerful that they can end life as we know it. Yes, they're real, and our senior instructors will guide you to safety. This seminar is limited to the first 100 who purchase tickets on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. Your tuition for this special seminar is $85. Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. This is an in-depth, all-day seminar, and you're encouraged to take notes. Note-taking materials are provided. Food and beverages are available all day at the Get Prepared Expo, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
This is Rick Ossick, president of Famous Footwear. Our company is working together with the March of Dimes through March for Babies to raise money and awareness about the serious problem of premature birth in the U.S. As a business leader, I know that babies born very sick or too soon cost businesses billions of dollars each year, in addition to the emotional stress on employees and their families. That's why Famous Footwear is committed to raising funds to improve the health of moms and babies everywhere. Won't you please join us in the March for Babies? Start a team today at marchforbabies.org.
Good people need help. The Homeowners Association said we had weeds and fined us $25. We told them they had the wrong house. They said if we didn't pay it, they'd file a lien. Our attorney demanded photographs, witnesses, and told them if they couldn't provide this, they must cease and desist. Issue solved. Worry less and live more with lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com or call 855-340-SAVE. That's 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Class, I just went to gcnlive.com, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You, our class, and our instructors have made USA Prepare's the number one top stream right now on GCN Live. And I've been watching the website over the last few weeks, and we are always in the top 5. Even when we're not on the air, we're listed as one of the top 5. But right this moment, and we're number 1. Yesterday we were number 2, and I'm quite humbled by that. And if you're wondering what today's discussion has to do with preparedness, like saving matches for 20 years, fuel and energy, well, this is your country. This is our country. And we're not going to let it go down without a fight. And here we have local governments all over the country abusing us. Hartville, Missouri. We've got our own little speed trap there, our own toll booth right there. And they've destroyed, with one cop, they've destroyed commerce in Hartville, Missouri. And Sparta has a reputation. Don't speed through Sparta. Now, who wants to speed anyway? Most of us don't want to speed because we think it's endangering others. But when a city or a town has a reputation like that, it literally dries up the town. I've seen it in Virginia. I saw it in a small community in Virginia where they got this rent-a-cop. They gave him a rent-a-radar gun, and they gave him a rent-a-cruiser. And he literally destroyed the commerce in that town. And I don't think it comes back for a long, long time. So, my dad would tell me back in the 1970s, boy, if you go to Georgia, boy, they've got these speed traps. Those guys hide with their motorcycles behind billboards, man. And he would tell me that. My dad wasn't like that. He didn't, but he would say, this is what they do. And this is now what we're doing all over the country. And add to that, the lightning on a stick that the city of Sparta, Missouri, the mayor, the police chief, they're all defending the alderman. No one is speaking out saying, you know what, guys, what we did was wrong. Joe Alcapente was there, and he streamed it live, and he's got a Ustream video. And as soon as I get the link, I will post it. But I didn't see anybody. I didn't see them take questions from we the people. They shut us down. They would not let us speak. They couldn't wait for that meeting to get over. And no one there said, you know what, guys, I don't think this is right. I make a motion that we get rid of all tasers in Sparta. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think these uniforms are offensive. It looks like we're ready for war. We declared war on the people with these black uniforms. Nobody said that. Joe?
And speaking on those black uniforms, our officers used to wear tan uniforms or green uniforms or blue uniforms. You know where the black uniform originated? It originated with the SS in Nazi Germany. And it was a solid black uniform with black steel-toed boots. That's where the term jackbooted thug comes from. And it was used for intimidation, so that every time you saw that black uniform, you went into a panic and fear mode, and you kind of shut down, and you obeyed that authority figure. So now in America, here we are 60 years later, and our local small town of 1,750 people is wearing the SS uniform. That should shock people. That should absolutely shock people into waking up to what's going on in this country. And like you said, that city council was not in any way, shape, or form interested in hearing the grievances of the people that they have sworn an oath to represent. The whole tone of that meeting was very arrogant, and I wanted to point out a few things that really stuck out to me. Before the meeting even started and throughout the entire meeting, I don't know if you noticed, Vince, but there was one city council member up there that was sucking on a dum-dum lollipop. There was a little thing of dum-dum lollipops sitting in the council chamber as you walked in, which I thought was quite ironic. And he was sitting up there real arrogant in his hoodie, sucking on a lollipop the whole time.
And gum chewing, Joe, and there was one gum chewing.
Yeah. And then one of the biggest points and motions that were made by the council was to give the mayor a city-funded cell phone instead of his own personal cell phone. And the reasoning behind this was so that the mayor did not have to be available to the people on his personal cell phone, and that he could shut this city cell phone off and turn it on as he chose to. And that was a direct result of you getting this story out on the air and having people from all, this story has gone national, and having people from all over the country call the mayor of Sparta to voice their opinion on what's exactly going on there. And I will say, the mayor was very cordial, but he had a very somber tone. I think the presence of that many people in that chamber sent a very strong message to that city council. And I saw a lot of people on the council were very defiant, but that mayor had a very somber tone, and I think the message was sent in that council meeting.
Well, I was absolutely appalled that no one was willing to really speak out against what had happened to Bob Estep. They circled their wagons, and they were all in unison and would not discuss it. Not one person. But what I found was absolutely fascinating was those who had signed up to speak at this alderman's meeting were related to the cop who tased and kicked and handcuffed and tortured Bob Estep. They're saying, we really support our government here in Sparta. We think we've got a great government. I mean, that was the intent. That was the intent of their message, that we're really fortunate to have such a great government. And, and also we don't like the fact that there are these negative, and that's the word they use, negative comments going around on websites and being spoken about, negative comments about our town. And there were comments about how it was affecting commerce. Well, who in their right mind would subject him or herself to going to a place where they are willing to tase people for a suspicion of being drunk? Suspicion of being drunk with absolutely no proof, and to find out that there was no drinking involved anyway? Can you imagine? Class, can you imagine being pulled over by the police, sitting in your car, wondering what's going on, with bright lights on you so you can't see a thing? You can hardly dial your cell phone because the lights are so bright, and this is at night. And then a policeman opens your door to your vehicle and tases you right in your seat. Can you imagine that? And then the town saying, we stand behind our policemen. We stand behind that.
And it should be noted, Vince, it was not the town. The four people that were allowed to speak, the first gentleman was the officer's grandfather. The second gentleman that was allowed to speak was the officer's uncle. The third person that was allowed to speak was a woman who was the officer's aunt. And those were the only people that were allowed to speak at the city council meeting. Everybody else that had called in and requested to be put on the public comment section of the agenda was denied.
Except for Tim Peake. Except for Tim Peake. He spoke.
Okay.
And I have a question. It was a local news. Does that town have a local newspaper?
Yes. It's not the town, but the county does.
Is the newspaper biased like my town, or is it open and is it an alternative newspaper? Is it trying to do the right thing?
I talked to the editor of the newspaper before the meeting, and I explained to her that I appreciated her writing an article about this situation. And during this discussion, she told me she was appalled at what I was saying. She was appalled. She thought that what I was saying was hearsay, and it really bothered her. I said, I got that from Bob Estep. I was on the phone with Bob Estep. I got it right from the horse's mouth. This is what I was told. And so
she said then?
Well, she was appalled, and she really didn't want to discuss this with me. And I said, well, I'll be glad to say hello to you at the meeting. And she was real chummy with the chief of police. And they were talking, and they're kind of looking at me and talking. It's like,
that's your infrastructure. That's the good old boy network. And what you have to do is an alternative newspaper and or a mimeograph where you just run off a few pages and you post it in everybody's box. I'll tell you what. This is enough of this crap, and I'm going to guess that there's a need for a serious recall for the mayor. Start there and work down the line to the chief of police, etc. And you just start getting rid of them, one one at a time. And they'll watch what's happening and watch what happens next. Unless, of course, they're a bunch of jackboots, in which case, and by the way, I live in Ku Klux Klan country. The Grand Dragon is just down the street from me. So I live in an environment that has this kind of mental attitude. They call it Copland here. It's where all the LA detectives retire. There's a war going on with the Vagos. It's always got to be something going on. That's Ken Kesey. Sometimes a great notion.
Rick, are you saying that the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan,
the Grand Dragon on Fish Hatchery Road does all the dogs for the SWAT teams of Oregon? Hoorah! And 2 weeks ago, I went out with a friend to look at a large aquaculture project next to the presidential bunker that I have access to. And guess what? His girlfriend, had 6, not 1, 6 working dogs with her. Now, you tell me what that means.
Rick, I'm trying to understand. We went from the KKK.
Dog, she had a Belgian Shepherd that's got to be worth at least $40,000. Now, most handlers only have 1 dog. So, what do you think she is?
Well, I'm thinking about the change of the...
And this is Ku Klux Klan country.
Rick, I'm thinking about the uniforms. They went from white with hoods to, what, black with caps and body armor?
There you go.
We'll be right back. So just who will you meet at the Get Prepared Expo? For starters, John Moore, John Statmiller, Sam Bushman, Kurt Crosby, Aaron Dakins, Brad Dakins, and me, Vincent Finelli. Joining us, just to name a few, are the senior instructors. Medical Dr. Norman Shealy, Engineer Matt Stein, the real Fox Mulder of the X-Files, Physicist Dr. Richard Allen Miller, Author Captain John Regan, Counter-Terrorist Mike Ma, Author Rich Sheben, and the CSPOA founder, Sheriff Richard Mack. You'll learn how water wells work, how to buy gold and silver quietly, discreetly, and privately. Learn the importance of good health and how to care for your loved ones. Learn alternative medicines, overcoming anxiety, stress, high blood pressure, and alternative cancer treatments. You'll have access to more doctors, more authors, more talk show hosts than any event we know of. The Get Prepared Expo, the last weekend in March, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. GetPreparedExpo.com. That's GetPreparedExpo.com.
Valentine's Day is coming soon. Guns80.com wanted to show you some lovin', so they stripped their profits to the bone. Lowered their prices to $400 for their Ghost AR kits. Valentine's Day offer ends on the 15th, so don't delay. Return the love. Go to Guns80.com, order your Ghost AR-15 rifle kit. No dealers, background checks, no hassles, delivered to your door. I call that love. Go to Guns80.com. That's 844-248-6780. Order now, Guns80.com. That's Guns80.com or 844-2-GUNS80.
Genesis is defined as an origin, creation, or the beginning. Genesis Communications Network began with the mission of providing you with the kind of compelling content you're listening to now. And at GCNlive.com, you'll find a free archive of our nation's history, narrated by GCN hosts, explored, shared, and passed down to future generations. GCN is the future of talk radio, but we should always strive to learn from our past. Together, we are GCNlive.com. GCN.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey guy.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
Class, we've been talking about tasing, and I'd like to bring neurological effects into the discussion. Before we do that, Joe, do you have a takeaway message from what you saw, what you witnessed in this small city meeting of?
I'd just like to make a general statement to the listeners that this is going to continue to happen, and it's going to continue to get worse until the public snaps out of their mass hypnosis that these are public servants and not authority figures. The reason they're seen as authority figures is because these mayors and these city councils push out the guys in black uniforms and with the guns. They put them and present them up front before you ever have access to them. And those are ancient techniques, adapted for modern times. Like I said, Hitler did a lot to perfect those techniques. And so until we start holding these people accountable as public servants and letting them know that we view them as such, things are going to continue to get worse. And so, I know a lot of good men that are police officers. Does that make them good police officers? I don't know. If they're turning a blind eye to the corruption in their departments, I would say not. And so we're not attacking all men here that wear the uniform, but it's got to stop, and people have got to wake up and stop apologizing for these things.
I'm reminded of the movie Serpico and the fiduciary responsibility an individual has to himself before even he starts to serve others.
That's right.
Joe, I was looking at the firepower that the police there had. They had six cops. 4 were from Sparta, Missouri, and 2 were from elsewhere. And they were fully loaded for a confrontation. They had correct me if I'm wrong, they searched every single one of us. And the chief of police, I said, as we were going in, I said, I have, I saw on the door, no firearms. And I said, well, I have a tool in my pocket, and I'm a farmer. And I pulled out my folding knife, and it's like a 3-inch blade, maybe 3 and a quarter. And he said, that's fine, just keep it in your pocket. I went 5 feet further from where he was standing, and I was about ready to be metal detected. And this young cop said, no weapons! And he screamed at me. I said, it's not a weapon, it's a tool. And I said, by the way, the boss said it's okay. And, what I'm saying is we have the boss has his thoughts on what's acceptable, and then we have these other people who have their thoughts about what's acceptable. That's a huge problem, okay? Because there are plenty of us who had tools in our pockets, and they literally went through our pockets. They wanded us to make sure we didn't have any metal. But yet, let me say it a different way, but yet every single one of them, the cops, had enough firepower to kill 10 of us, 20 of us.
That's because they probably knew you guys were coming to talk about the tasing.
Well, sure they did.
What's that about?
And that's what my point was, that they push the intimidating black uniforms up into your face up front. And
right in the beginning.
The descent. Yeah, in hopes that you don't even want to go there. And that once you are inside, that, and these two cops, the chief of police being one of them, are standing in the corner with their little iPhones, taking pictures of the crowd and, just trying to intimidate people. Let me tell you.
It's, resistance is futile.
Yeah.
Good luck with Lao Tzu.
Let me tell you, it's not. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Think. That's what they may think, but, I don't see them as authority figures. I see them as what they are. Public servants who are now scared little boys with guns. And that's really all that I saw being demonstrated there. Again, one was even sucking on a dum-dum lollipop the entire time. So that's what we're dealing with at Sparta, Missouri, folks. And I'd encourage everybody who can to call the city council, to call the mayor, and voice your opinion on this story.
There you go. When we come back, I'll give you the number. Joe, thanks so much for calling in and being with us. Right after top of the hour news and commercial announcements, Dr. Richard Allen Miller and I are going to talk about physics. We're going to talk about hydrogen vehicles. We're going to talk about perpetual motion, why there are no hydrogen vehicles, and anesthesia. We'll be right back.
It's happening again. The feds are trying to ban your freedom to own body armor. In January, a newly introduced bill, H.R. 378, will take away your right to buy Level 3 and higher body armor. Katie Armor offers the most affordable Level 3 body armor packages on the market today. Protect yourself. Buy your body armor now before it's too late. Go to katiearmor.com. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
Have you ever wondered if you could make electric, light, or heat in your home for free? It is now a new day. How about a motor that charges batteries at the same time? What if this also restores useless batteries and saves you lots of money? Come to our Renaissance Charge Conference Workshop on March 7th and 8th in Chicago. Visit r-charge.com. That's r-charge.com for details. Or call 208-304-2954. 208-304-2954.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates. 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Hour number 2 of USA Prepares with Dr. Richard Allen Miller. Joe's staying with us for just a couple more minutes. Joe, I posted your video of the Sparta City Aldermen's meeting of Tuesday, February 10th on the website, usaprepares.com. So, class, if you'd like to watch this, you'll get a chance to see what we saw. Joe, I asked you to stick around for just 2 minutes to tell us, please, what are we going to learn in your seminar at the Get Prepared Expo?
I'll be speaking Sunday from the 4 to 5 o'clock hour on GMOs and the destruction of our food system. That'll be the first half of the seminar, and the second half will be solutions and how to grow, shop, and eat for optimum health. And we're going to be getting into what exactly a GMO is. Why it could be a game over. The GMOs can and are looking like they may be a game over event for our food system. Why they've been banned in most of the European Union as well as Asia. They just absolutely will not allow any GMOs or any corn, rice or soy from America into their countries. And the reason for that is from the Terminator seed. If a GMO were to be grown on the farm next to yours, and one of those seeds were to blow over onto my farm, it's going to crossbreed with my organic corn. And when that corn stalk grows, it's not going to produce a seed. I'm not going to be able to replant my corn. So it literally has the ability to destroy crops on farms for miles around. And And also, there's farmers being sued. So if that seed blows over onto my farm, destroys my organic crop, Monsanto is now sending out investigators to small farms that are taking samples and saying, hey, we've got a patent on this seed and it's growing on your farm, and they're going after farmers and suing them. When with a farmer, we work in the opposite. The farmer should be suing Monsanto for contaminating and destroying their crop. So we'll get into a lot of that. We'll get into the health effects that these GMOs are having on us. And my background is in the food business. I've been in the food business my entire life. I worked for a major grocery chain out in California, and more recently a small chain I was the director of operations for a small organic and natural foods chain here in the Midwest. And so we'll also get into food chain disruptions and shortages that I experienced, while I was, with these companies. Then we'll open it up to questions. But I really want people to take away solutions. I hate kind of giving the gloom and doom of what's going on without presenting solutions that people can enact in their daily lives, so that they can take back the power for their food supply and their health, and make some major changes to what's going on here. And I think more and more people are waking up to that, because we're seeing diseases like arthritis and cancer and autism just absolutely explode in the population. And it's a direct result of being bombarded with the four elements on a daily basis: air, earth, fire, and water. They're spraying you from the air. They're poisoning your water. They're genetically modifying your food. And so when you're bombarded by that many silent weapons in these secret wars, we've got to fight back, or it's game over.
Rick, your thoughts?
Well, MIT just came out with a statement suggesting that by 2025, 50% of our children will be autistic because of the Roundup Ready chemistry that's in the food they're eating. That's MIT that came out and said that yesterday.
Autism and cancer up until about the 1950s was almost non-existent. And
that is correct.
Once the industrial food supply revolution came into play, and we have major manufacturers, industrial manufacturers with manufacturing chemicals and petroleum products, who lobbied the United States government, instead of having to spend a lot of money disposing of their byproducts in a hazardous materials or an ecological beneficial way, they said, hey, let's just dump it in the food supply. We can sell it back to one of our subsidiary companies who's in the food business, because we know that most of these companies are just a conglomerate. You might have a petrochemical company who also owns a food company. And so they sold it back to one of their food companies, and they're adding it into the food. It's just it's wickedness beyond belief.
Joe, you mentioned game over, and when you think about this, and I've used the term defective, and I describe people who I believe have the characteristics of being defective. You have to be absolutely defective to want to promote and develop a genetically modified organism that will render food grown nearby. It will prevent food from being grown nearby. Okay.
Yep.
Neutralizing the seeds. This is absolute suicide for humanity. It's the dumbest thing that you can think of. Nobody in his right mind would do this.
That's absolutely right. And if anybody questions the motive of these companies, let me ask you something. What company on earth tries to hide their marketing, their sales, and their symbols? The biggest marketing tool that companies use is their logo and their symbol and their terms. They put them on race cars. They put them on billboards. They pay for commercials. They want it out there. Monsanto and GMO foods have spent billions and GMO companies have spent billions upon billions of dollars to defeat ballot measures in states like California, Oregon, Washington, who are demanding that labels be put on products that contain GMOs. Let me ask you something. Again, what company that wants to be profitable tries to hide their logo, tries to hide their business model? If anybody questions the motive behind the GMO food movement, Just look at that. What are they afraid of? Why are they afraid to put the GMO label, on these products? It's because they know people will not buy them. They have to slip these products, these ingredients into your food under your nose, because if you really knew what they did and you really knew what was in them, you absolutely would run the other direction, from these products, and they'd go out of business overnight. And that's really what it boils down to, folks, is your consent. Are you going to continue to give your consent through your dollars, your purchasing power, to these companies? Because if you do, there's nothing going to change, and they're going to continue to do what they're going to do. So you need to vote with your dollars, and you need to voice your opinions without fear of being shamed, without fear of what your friends and families might think or call you. When you feel something in your gut isn't right, you need to voice that opinion.
Joe and Rick, as you were saying this, and you're talking about the Monsanto logo, I went to the internet and I did a search on Monsanto, and I clicked on images. And there's a really nice image of a plant growing in the Monsanto biotechnology logo, and it says innovation, collaboration, and speed. Okay, it doesn't say health. It doesn't say longevity. It doesn't say anything that indicates research for nutrition. Okay, of all of these images I see, and try it, class, try it. Just go to Google or your favorite search engine and type in Monsanto, click on images. It looks to me that 3/4 of these images relate to the evil, the death, the destruction of the results of Monsanto's products. Literally, I mean, there's an image of the evolution of man, starting with an ape, and then becoming more and more erect. And then there's a guy that looks like a couch potato. He's got this huge gut, okay? He's lost his hair. He's way out of shape. And then the next image is he's evolved into a pig.
You have to realize that at one time when I worked for Old Man DuPont, Monsanto was a very, very small company under his rule that was basically a weapons company for defoliants. And it was used in Agent Orange, 2,4-D, and Paraquat. That's what they did. And today, they're no longer under DuPont. They're way bigger than DuPont. Transnational corporations. DuPont is part of America. And, you know, Rockefeller and that chain. But when you start talking about corporations that are 40 times bigger than the United States in cash flow, now you have a problem with democracy and being a republic.
Rick, I'm looking at some images, and there are these deformed children. I mean, seriously deformed. It looks like there's a child with two knees. Two knees. He's got, you know, his foot, his ankle, a knee, and then a knee above that knee, and then he's got his hip. These are serious. Now, I can't say that this is true, but I'm saying if you type in the Monsanto on Google and then you look at the images, you'll see this picture, this photograph, and then you'll see all of these evil anti-Monsanto images. I would say there are 3 anti-Monsanto images on Google for every one that is just neutral about Monsanto. Seriously. There is a backlash against Monsanto. Yes.
And another great term to search into Google is GMOs fed to rats. Just type into Google GMOs fed to rats. And there was a study done about 2 years ago where a control group of lab rats was fed a regular diet, and then they had another group fed GMOs, nothing but GMOs for 3 months. And I want you to look at the images of there. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what. If that doesn't scare you into sobriety over GMOs, I don't know what will.
Well, here's the other metaphor. It used to be the food that our grandparents ate was food. Today, it is labeled organic food. It has to have a second word added to it because food today is not natural.
Well, even along those lines, Dr. Miller, the organic food that you're getting these days is still not as nutritious as it was.
GMO, that's correct.
From the overproduction and the commercialization and the over-farming and non-rotation of the soil that's going on by these big commercial companies.
Joe, thanks for being with us. And by the way, if you go to just Google Images, you'll see that image of the rats with tumors bigger than their heads. Joe, thanks for being with us. We'll see you at the expo. What's so special about the Get Prepared Expo? Imagine having the opportunity to learn from some of the best preparedness and survival instructors available today. The faculty of USAPrepares.com. Imagine meeting your radio instructors all in one place. The last weekend in March. Imagine having lunch or dinner at a table with your instructors. And the cost? $10.80. Imagine having your favorite instructors autographing and personalizing your new books. Imagine buying Berkey water filters at deep discounts, the lowest price in the country. Imagine buying freeze-dried, long-term storage food at the lowest price in the country. You don't have to imagine. This is real. It's at the Get Prepared Expo, the biggest and best preparedness expo there is, March 27, 28, and 29 in Lebanon, Missouri. One-day tickets are $8 on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. getpreparedexpo.com.
Hi, this is Steve Spillum for Midas Resources. In 1971, President Nixon took the United States off the gold standard and put us into a fiat currency. This allowed Congress and the Federal Reserve to create trillions of dollars out of thin air. The national debt has risen to incredible heights, and your hard-earned dollars by a small fraction of what they once did. The average life expectancy for a fiat currency is 27 years. The dollar is failing and on borrowed time. When currencies fall, people turn to gold and silver because gold and silver have been real money for more than 5,000 years. It is our mission at Midas Resources to help you preserve your capital. Don't let your personal savings shrink to nothing. For important free information on how you can protect your personal wealth, contact me, Steve Spillum, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 308. Call today while we are still accepting dollars for gold and silver. 1-800-686-2237, extension 308. Make a change in your financial security today. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 308.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
This is David Cordani, CEO of Cigna. For more than 20 years, Cigna has worked with the March of Dimes to address premature births in the U.S. Thank you for taking time to learn more about how you could support March for Babies in 2015. Premature births cause horrible suffering and cost billions of dollars each year. That's why Cigna is committed to raising funds and awareness through our employees, family, and friends to improve the health of moms and babies. Please join us in supporting the March for Babies. Start your team today at marchforbabies.org.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us. Rick, we've been talking about the expo. Can you share with us what we're going to learn in your seminar? Now, this is all day Friday, the setup day. That's the March 27th at the Cowan Civic Center in Lebanon, Missouri. You and Matt Stein are going to be together, and you're going to be talking about game over events. Can you share with us what we're going to learn?
Boy, I'm not sure how to do this. My normal with Matt would be to do the ESP induction forms, thinking with the gut. However, Matt and I have just started talking about a sustainable lifeboat concept that the USS America is taking on water, and it's time to man lifeboats. And you men make sure you have some oars. And so what is it that you're going to need should the grid go down because of geographical changes, an EMP strike, a coronal mass ejection from the sun? It looks, we don't know what's going to happen, but everybody is completely unprepared. Just talking about water and the fact that if a city has a grid go down for 3 days, where are you going to get your water? If the city can't deliver, what happens next to all the citizens with their jackboots and the things we've been talking about? And worse, That's the concept of FEMA, probably for water. Now, if you don't have at least 3 days of water on hand right now and a backup plan on how to replace that the first day you have to go into your stash, what is your game plan? And if you don't have that together right now, you're going to be part of what we call FEMA. And once you check in, it will be like Hotel California. And I'm telling you right up clear, before you even think about food and the fact that stuff falling out of the atmosphere right now is RADCON level alerts with radiation falling with plutonium and cesium-137. And I'm not even going to go to what they're putting in geoengineering. You should have seen what I discovered 3 days ago about geoengineering. This is so creepy that if you don't have your garden together with a cover, you know, probably the food you're going to eat is going to be toxic because of radiation. Right now, radiation levels in Missouri are up 10 times what previous background radiation was at. And is that dangerous? Not really at this juncture, but it's an indicator of where it's going. It's not going down, it's going up. And any radiation is bad. And so if you get that in your soil and you're trying to grow your vegetables in your soil, what are you going to do next? I went and visited an aquaculture farm that had a throughput of 50,000 head of lettuce every day, 24/7. And then 4 fish tanks. I had actually 6 fish tanks. And these were big enough food to feed the bunker it was right next to. It's creepy what's going on. I'm watching and reading about the 1%ers now bugging out. What do they know? I don't. I don't have a clue on all of this. We're going to talk about this, and I'm going to basically see who shows up as to what they want from me, because I'm capable of giving it all to them, and we'll try to do it in an 8-hour period. Matt and I are really good as a team. His background and knowledge base on, Fairbanks generators, for example, and which one you want to run your grid to pump your water. I would suggest anybody with a well have a side pump, hand pump, just for backup. You will probably be the lifesaver for your local community.
Rick, one of the seminars that we're going to have at the expo is by a man who owns a well drilling company. And it's a fairly large one. And we were talking about, Springfield, Missouri. And here's an interesting thing. We think we drill a hole, we find water, and it's good. Well, no, not necessarily, because in Springfield, they have polluted their own aquifer. So the water that you hit at 400 feet is toxic.
Is this from fracking?
No, I'm not sure exactly, but I don't think it's from fracking. But you got to go below that aquifer to get to the one below it, so you can have relatively safe drinking water. So if we're thinking we just drill a hole and we hit water, that's good. That's not the case. And we're going to have a seminar on that. This is pretty serious stuff. We're surrounded by attacks. I mean, not only are we being tased with lightning on a stick, but the environmental threats are huge. We'll be right back. Some of you might be wondering, just what is the Get Prepared Expo? The Get Prepared Expo is designed to help everyone survive tornadoes, snowstorms, ice storms, earthquakes, and God forbid, a real terrorist attack. Are you ready? Have you thought through all the scenarios? At the Get Prepared Expo, you'll meet exhibitors who will help you prepare and survive and learn what you need. Included in your all-day passes are 1-hour seminars on water filtration, cooking and heating without electricity, wood, or any kind of fuel, the all-important survival garden, and growing food with heirloom seeds, radiation detection and radiation survival. There are over 60 seminars at the Get Prepared Expo. Think of it as a college preparedness degree in a weekend. Get Prepared Expos are taught by preparedness leaders, authors, medical doctors, and radio personalities. Bring your questions. We have the answers. We hope to see you the last weekend in March. Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
Are you hungry for delicious, nutritious, rich, and satisfying home-cooked meals? Discover the Vita Clay 4-in-1 Smart Organic Cooker. Unglazed Zisha clay, an ancient secret that makes this fast multi-cooker so special. Infusing your food with incredible flavors, perfect texture, vitamins and minerals for your good health. It's a slow cooker, rice cooker, a steamer, plus a yogurt maker. Go to VitaClayChef.com and enter promo code RADIO20 for 20% off at checkout. That's VitaClayChef.com.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today. Class Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us, and you can go to his website, richardallenmiller.com, Richard A-L-A-N Miller.com. And Rick, you know, I was talking with Ed Marvini last night, and we were talking about the expo, and he's going to add his information to a seminar. And I'm going to be doing one on how to start your own business. And so for so many expos, I've been on the schedule, and then I've taken myself off the schedule so others could speak. This time I've decided that because I've gotten so many requests for how do you start your own business, I'm going to do my seminar, and that's all there is to it. Well, Ed Marvini has a component that we're going to add, and that is, okay, so you can start your own business and take the same deductions that the rich take. And that can be any business. It can be a small business that you operate locally, or it can be an internet business. Any business at all. Like if you like fly fishing, well, you can start a fly lure business, and you can, build up your business with hand-tied lures, fishing lures. Very easy to get into that business, very low cost. Well, what if you want to expand that business and sell the flies on the internet? Well, Ed Marvini is going to bring a component to teach us about that. And how do you handle e-commerce? It's a minefield. It's a literal minefield to get involved in taking payments online. So he's going to tell us what to expect, what to look out for, and what works. And I think we're going to be able to offer a package where if you want a turnkey system where you've got products already started for you on your website for an e-commerce business, he's going to have that available at a low cost. And so the reason I'm mentioning that with you, Rick, is you and I both use Ed Marvini's services for our website.
Ed has been my lifesaver. I can't begin to tell you what he's done for me. Really, I totally appreciate you, Ed. And while I'm at it, I'm just saying hi to Grace Thorne, wherever you are right now in Oklahoma. She's on her way to Mexico, and I miss her sitting here every Thursday morning in the chair next to me.
Well, Rick, I got information that she's going to be flying from the West Coast with you. She's going to be joining you for the flight out to the expo. And what's really interesting is I said to Mrs. Finelli yesterday, I said, Grace Thorne's coming, and we've got room for her. And she said, okay, what we'll do, she said, we'll have the ladies who are joining, we'll have them in separate rooms. And I said, well, there's probably about 10 people going to show up. It's going to be really packed here.
What a question. Yeah.
Well, here's what I said. I said, well, Grace can, there's a couple other girls, and I said, they can have a room together. And she said, they don't know each other. And I said, yeah, but it'll work.
They will by the end of the weekend. Who snores, who does what? That's right.
So it's going to be, it's going to be a lot of fun here at the farm as we get ready. Now, Rick, you are going to be with us. You're going to arrive early, I believe, Wednesday.
I'm coming on Thursday, yeah.
Thursday,
Friday morning.
Yeah. And then you're going to stay Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're going to be with us on Monday at the Monday night meetup. And I wanted to share that with our class, that you will be in person at the USA Prepares meetup at Jimmy's Egg, after the expo.
Do that. Yeah, I don't have the time, and I'm going to make it. It's worth it. It's worth visiting with people that I've met before at your conferences. It's really nice. The only thing I don't like about it is that Saturday morning I'm talking at the same time Dr. Norm Shealy is talking, and I wanted to go to his thing. How does that? And I told you that last year.
hey, okay, all right,
every year, often you have me speaking against people that I'd rather sit in the audience and hear what they have to say.
All right. Well, Rick, I've got this. I've got the schedule right in front of me. So let me just throw out a few names, okay? Here's who's going to be. We're going to have 5 or 6 seminars going at a time. Erin Dakins from Genesis Communications Network. Dr. Norman Shealy.
And I'm going to be speaking. I won't be able to meet with her.
Wait a minute. She's going to be at the farm with her husband, so she'll be here.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. Now there's a private room right there, right out of the gate.
Okay, so we have Erin Dakins and Brad Dakins. We've got Norm Shealy, Judy Dollarheight, Mike Ma, Harry Cooper is going to be talking about Hitler escaping to Argentina. We have Roy Birdsong is going to be talking about cell phones for $8 a month. Matt Stein, Glenn Meter is going to be talking about water distillation. Richard Leinbaugh is going to be talking about water wells. Dr. Patrick Vickers is coming from Mexico. Rich Sheevan's coming from Montana. John Moore is going to be talking. He's with Republic Broadcasting. Paul Munson's going to be talking about cooking with the sun. Joyce Riley's going to be with us. James Gray is going to be talking about building your own AR-15. Howard Shayne's going to be making emergency dental crowns. Now, Ray LaRue is going to be talking about building insulated concrete and foam buildings where you stack these foam blocks, put rebar in them, fill them with concrete, and now you've got your foundation for your building. Gayla Pruitt's going to be talking about the Seed Police. Sheriff Richard Mack's going to be with us talking about the sheriffs. Captain Bill Sermo's going to be talking about bugging in and bugging out. Len Pence, gardening revolution. Julie Penick's going to be talking about healthcare. Dr. Judy Wood's going to be talking about 9/11. John Statmiller is going to be talking about We Told You So. Craig Douglas is going to be talking about radiation. Brandy Brogdon is going to be talking about longevity with Dr. Joel Wallach. Tim Stark's going to be talking about home security. John Reagan's going to be discussing the financial state of the union. Then I'm going to talk about starting your own business. Craig Douglas is going to be talking about long-term food. Milo Carter is going to be talking about pathogens. And we're going to be talking about essential oils with Ollie Clifford. Now, that's Saturday. Now, who don't you want to go against? I don't know how to do it, Rick.
Various heart attacks and or police invasion. It'll be a lot of drama. I'm just looking forward to it because who knows how it's all going to fall down.
Well, so Rick, here's what I was thinking. There's Norm Shealy who's going to be he's actually. All right, I will try to arrange this now. This is schedule version 2.1.
I'm just kidding. I love
Rick.
Norm, and it's okay. You don't need to change your schedule. I just had a student, for example, that was planning to come on Saturday, and she couldn't she wanted to see me more than anything, but she didn't want to miss Norm Shealy. But what I did is I invited her to come early on Friday, and she's welcome to crash my event so that she can see Norm Shealy on Saturday. And you know what? It's not about money. If there's reasons you can't attend that have to do with finances, as far as my thing is concerned, if you have a valid argument, Sandy is authorized to, make decisions. Because it's not about money for me. I am trying to prepare everybody with what I know is coming down the pike as a physicist. And, it's like we have an opportunity. It doesn't have to be bad. It's like the possibilities. That's the book, The Postman, where everybody goes back to feudal systems of 17th century, and yet the city of Corvallis evolves to the next level because of a supercomputer that has ways of being sustainable. That's what we're going to do. Sustainable lifeboats.
Yeah. And we're not just going to complain about these problems. We're literally.
Well, we have a chance to rewrite it the way you want it. At some point, the whole thing's going to crash and burn. Cities are not going to have their infrastructure able to deliver their services. And when that happens, what are you going to do next? Are you going to suffer, or are you going to evolve? And you have choices on how to do that. And it's like an opportunity to write it the way you want it. Barter, that kind of thing.
I've got to ask for a little bit of help from Matt, our engineer. Matt, my call screen computer is absolutely locked up. I cannot take calls. Can you put Mark from Philadelphia on? Hey, thank you so much. Mark from Philadelphia, you are on with Dr. Richard Allen Miller and me, Vin Finelli. Welcome.
Hello, Vincent. Hello, Richard.
Hi.
Gentlemen, we are on a precipice, and these challenges are coming at us. I'm telling you, whenever you have Richard on, man, he opens up channels of perspective, of possibility that you didn't see before. It's amazing. Just being in his presence on a phone, on a radio show, incredible.
Yeah, hey, I'll tell you what.
To me, go ahead.
You ought to see what it's like in person.
Oh no!
I don't think you're going to get much sleep the whole week.
Mark, people will say.
I don't anyway because I'm a grumpy old man, but there it is.
People will say to me, "What's Rick like?" And I'll say, "You know what he sounds like on the radio? That's what he's like."
Well, I'm a scientist myself. You'll see. You'll all see. I'll show you a little. Boris Karloff, I'll tell you.
We're on a precipice, and what came to me, Vincent and Richard, is this: that we're being enticed with all this technology, ease of life and all these push button this and that and all this. That's the technology part. But here's the part that people that's hidden from us, and it's been stealthful for a long time. And it's called barbarism. So what came to me was technological barbarism, and we haven't experienced yet. We're getting the telltale signs of barbarism in our face, like being tased. By the way, there's a futuristic movie, and I know Richard will know this movie. It was called Genesis 2. It was a Gene Roddenberry movie where they had these rods, these what they called stems, and they gave either pleasure or pain. I'll hold for the break.
Sure. Mark from Philadelphia, Dr. Richard Allen Miller, and this is USAPrepares.com. We'll be right back. We have a special seminar for you on Friday, March 27th at the Get Prepared Expo. From 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Spend the day with USA Prepares senior instructors, Matt Stein and Dr. Richard Allen Miller. There you'll learn about the 3 major game over events and their likelihood. And most importantly, what to do about them. Events so powerful that they can end life as we know it. Yes, they're real, and our senior instructors will guide you to safety. This seminar is limited to the first 100 who purchase tickets on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. Your tuition for this special seminar is $85. Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. This is an in-depth all-day seminar, and you're encouraged to take notes. Note-taking materials are provided. Food and beverages are available all day at the Get Prepared Expo, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Have you ever wondered if you could make electric, light, or heat in your home for free? It is now a new day. How about a motor that charges batteries at the same time? What if this also restores useless batteries and saves you lots of money? Come to our Renaissance Charge Conference Workshop on March 7th and 8th in Chicago. Visit r-charge.com. That's r-charge.com for details. Or call 208-304-2954. 208-304-2954.
On Facebook, on the news, and in conversations with friends, we're bombarded every day with advice on how to be healthier, from gluten-free and non-GMO diets to how much exercise and sleep the body needs. But how much have you heard about alkalizing the body? AlkaVision Plasma pH drops are a holistic and natural way to get your body's pH levels back in balance. Just a few drops in water will help your body rid itself of harmful waste. And even the healthiest of diets can be complemented with your daily use of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops. Who isn't looking for more vibrance, vigor, and energy? Now buy 2 bottles of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops and get $10 off your order. Visit alkavision.com or call 800-518-7615. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops are packed with a powerful combination of the most alkaline minerals and compounds. Open the door to greater health, vitality, and zest for life. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health. Call 800-518-7615 or head to alkavision.com.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document? Worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Class, we got to meet up on Monday at Jimmy's Egg, USA Prepares Meetup Monday, Jimmy's Egg. We're going to be talking about the Chinese factory outlet and how they operate in Springfield, Missouri. I'll have my take on the news, and we'll have another seminar. So I just want to let you know that's what our intent is for Monday at Jimmy's Egg. Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us, Richard, A-L-A-N, Miller.com. You can buy his books on his website. You can meet him at the expo. And I suggest you consider going to his and Matt Stein's Friday all-day seminar on game-changing events. And the cost for that seminar is $85. And, with everything that we do at usaprepares.com, if you're not happy, we'll give you your money back. Seriously. For any reason. Okay? If you buy a hot dog from us, a discounted hot dog, an all-beef hot dog on a gourmet bun, and you're not happy with it, we'll be delighted to give you your money back. If you come to the expo and you say, it wasn't worth $8 to come to this expo, we'll give you your money back. We'll be glad to do that. The last thing we want is someone unhappy with what we've done. It's not that we're not trying. I mean, this is the biggest and best prepared expo in the country, by far. But if you're not happy, we'll be delighted to give you your money back. So, Mark in Philadelphia, back to you.
Yeah, so there was this futuristic movie called Genesis 2 where they had these wands that they carried around, the elite, and they could either give you pleasure or pain, but either way, you were to submit. These, Yogi Berra said it's deja vu all over again. Is it possible that it's deja vu for us? is it possible that something or whatever it is behind the scenes is still in charge of planet Earth? I'm wondering this. And I just got through watching a series called Spartacus. It was on the Stars program, and I saw it through Netflix because I was able to watch the whole thing, which is barbarism in your face. It's very vulgar. It's very, very, very vulgar. But in the midst of it all, you get the attitudes of the rulers at that time, they had no regard for human life. They thought they were kings and queens on planet Earth and royal, and the rest were ants, and they could do whatever their whims dictated, and it was just so. This is it possible we're about to experience the barbarism part of the telltale signs of barbarism, this technological barbarism. That's what just came to me while I'm listening to you guys' show.
Mm-hmm. Rick, your thoughts?
Well, that video statism and the idea that the state has more rights than the individual. The idea that they can send you to war to fight and kill someone you've never met, have no opinion on. The ability to, it is, Brzezinski, others have said that this is the highest or most dangerous religion there is. The concept of statism and the idea of the state.
Because Vincent, who in their right mind would create nuclear reactors and put them on fault lines around the planet? That I don't think a human being would do that.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Probably a life form from galactic center that's now thriving at Chernobyl and Fukushima. It's a black slime mold. Who knows what's really going on?
And so how do they compromise human beings to go along with that idea unless they have
a complacency, ignorance, and being ill-informed. There that is. That's three descriptions for America.
The only thing I can think of, Vince, is that they have a way to remediate all that radiation, and then the people that they've enticed to go along with this, that they've promised them a future where they can be rulers of planet Earth. I don't know what it is, but it's just evil, and it's reaching its tentacles even to the rural areas. It's incredible, but we got to stand up against this, and I appreciate you guys being there.
Mark, I've been thinking about this for a long time. And the term I came up with is defectives. They are literally defective. And the plural of defective to me is defectives. And that's who these people are. They have no conscience. They have no compassion. They have no forethought about the actions and the results of their deeds. They're evil. And I asked Dr. Norman Shealy on air, Dr. Shealy, are politicians who do these kinds of things, are they literally defective in mind and body? And he said, yes. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who literally are defective. We can call them all kinds of four-letter words, but there's nothing stronger to call them than defective. Mark, thanks so much for being with us. Dr. Richard Allen Miller, I'm all excited about having you come to the farm and seeing you and coming to your seminar.